Is the fun going to start for Ferrari this weekend, Tom? A double retirement at the Dutch Grand Prix, the worst possible preparation. Just when you thought things, in a sense, couldn't get any worse after the Hungarian Grand Prix. It looked so promising in qualifying for Charles Leclerc. Last stint, the thing basically died on him. And then obviously we have a double retirement at the Dutch Grand Prix, just all the preparation, all those 4 weeks of hard work, it just seems to have gone in the bin. But can they rescue it at the home race this weekend?
I'm not confident. I feel like at high speed that Ferrari does not seem safe with regards to the plank wear, and I know they're not. There's not a huge amount of high speed cornering. Obviously, apart from the obvious on Monza, they've got about four corners anyway. But there's a huge amount of time at full throttle, so there's not as much pressure going through the car. Now, Ferrari do always bring a Monza special. So if that Monza special does take the underside plank wear into account, and they're able to bring something specific to Monza that isn't going to get them disqualified after the race, then there may be something. But I think the most important thing for Ferrari, we all know what Charles Leclerc can do. Like he's won this race twice for Ferrari. He's clearly a huge talent in Formula One and prodigal son of that team. What they need is their seven-time world champion to perform in Monza in front of the Tifosi. That needs to happen. If he doesn't have a good race, I think he's going to start to lose the fan base, and then with that comes pressure. And then what would be worse than seeing statistically one of the greatest or the greatest driver in Formula One history dumped out of Formula One for poor performance in a Ferrari? That would be a really bad look. So I think for Formula One, he needs to have a good performance, and I think this weekend he showed that he was close to Leclerc. He was ahead of him in qualifying right up until the end of qualifying. Same situation as Lando Norris. He looked like the better driver all the way through qualifying, and then right at the end he just didn't have that last half a tenth. So if he can be in the same ballpark as Charles Leclerc, be racing with him on track and not have anything happen, then I think that's fine. As long as he can prove that he's in there, he can be up there fighting for the podium. At least give them something to cheer about, because they're not going to be cheering for like an eighth place or anything like that. But my biggest concern at the moment, I don't know if anything's happening with that investigation for the before the race driving to the grid. I know it was going to be investigated after the race. Now, given that he didn't take part for very long in the race, didn't finish the race, that could be a grid drop, which would be a really bad start to the weekend for him, having to start from further back. That's not what he needs. I think a clean slate coming into the weekend is exactly what he needs. So yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult weekend for Ferrari. I think they can maybe keep mixing it in there with the Mercedes and the Red Bull, but I mean they're going to be out of the Constructors' Championship come this weekend, so pretty much anyway. So it's going to be difficult. I can't see them. I don't think it's going to be a repeat of last year anyway, put it that way.
No, I'd be shocked. I mean, McLaren have taken so many steps forward in that time, and Ferrari have arguably taken a few backwards ones. I do believe, I mean, I don't know if it's still the case, but I know they were talking about that McLaren could officially mathematically win the Constructors' Championship at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Now, that was before Lando Norris retired, but I think they still probably can. I mean, we've said it before, it's done. I mean, the gap is just ridiculous. But man, imagine if Sir Lewis, imagine if he gets his first Grand Prix podium in a Ferrari at Monza. It could happen. It could happen. Stranger things have happened.